Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. Yeah, everything's good. Um, for the people who are just tuning in, if you um, wanted to tell us where you guys coming from, please let us know in the chat. We have a super special show today. Thank you so much for being here. And for the people who are just tuning in, let us know where you guys are tuning in from. All right, so we're super excited to be here in the creative session. As you know, we've been doing these sessions every month, or we try to do it every month, just to uh, present you like the brightest mind in the world doing creative immersive technology all over the world. And we're looking for this session to inspire people who are working in the immersive in media. And today we have a very special guest. Let us know where you guys are tuning in, please. I've seen more people are start joining the session. So as I was saying, like we have a very special guest today, YFX Lab, which is a creative technology studio based on Amsterdam, composed of two brothers, Tim and Roy, and they are this studio that blends math, art, design, and software engineer in a very crazy and incredible way. I have to say, I was very impressed when I met them for the first time. I think it was in Montreal back in the day. The first time that I saw one of their talk was like very blown away. Before we had this call, we were talking together, and I was telling them like, you guys are the closest thing to some wizards, because like they make magic with math, and I never seen making that level of magic with code. And we're happy to have them there. Thank you so much for everyone who just are tuning in from Seattle, from Dresden, from Mac. No, you're Mac, but you're not from Mac. From New Jersey, from Rotterdam, Amsterdam. Okay, nice. Thank you everyone for being here today. Please let us know where you guys are tuning in. And all right, I'm super excited to have Roy and team here. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome, guys. We have to. I have to tell you, like we've been trying to make this call for over a year
Yeah.
already. And for some circumstances, and we weren't happy to have you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, first of all, for being here, and thank you so much for everyone who are tuning this call. Uh, how you guys are? Thank you. How you
Good.
guys been?
So first, thanks for having us. Like it's really an honor to be among like all the the guests that you invite are like incredible. We really love watching the stream all the times and being on there. It took a while, but yeah,
Yeah, some big heroes also like yeah, the talks before us. It's like wow,
yeah.
mind blown.
So we're a bit nervous.
Thank you. And no, it's fine. Like
Right.
we try. I mean, like we try to do this very casual, very relaxed, and like for everyone that is their first time tuning in these calls. These are a super chill call, like a friend's call, if you want to call it like that. And we're super excited because we are literally people from everywhere, like Singapore, Canada, Toronto, Miami, Los Angeles, everywhere. And all right, so let's jump at it. And I would like to just introduce and tell you a little bit more about how the session works. Like Tim and Roy will present to us some of their work, some of their philosophy. After that, we're gonna do a short conversation, with them, And there is a chat, so we're gonna ask some questions at the end of the call. Please feel free to use the chat to put up any questions for them. And let's jump at it. If you guys are ready, let's
Yes, good.
begin.
Do we share a screen? Yeah. Um,
Uh,
yes, we're not. It's not only the two of us. Like we have Max, who's also in the chat, and Rogier as well. The four of us that were in the studio. But basically, we come up with a lot of different people. Like we're the faces, but yeah, there's a lot of people that basically the whole touch design and this whole immersive stuff is one collective research, right? And, so we built interactive installations. We have a background in the dance scene, stage design and visuals. And, Tim more of the
More in programming. And I think about 2018, we started to work together because I had a different technical background, more in web development, building like everything with a keyboard. And Roy was discovering touch designer.
was really trying to get him hooked, but he really hated the node-based stuff.
Yeah,
what? Sorry, what year was that?
Yeah, 2017, 16.
yeah, 16, I think.
Yeah.
I think then I started working on it.
Yeah.
But you started in 2011.
Yeah, 2000. Yeah, there was. I think in 2012 there was a Mutec workshop, 4 hours, where Greg and they recorded like a thing, and I was watching it over and over and over again. And that, yeah. But then in 2018, we really we had a talk in Montreal where you were talking about. That gave us the confidence to really switch into going full time touch designer, installation building, and now yeah, we've been doing it ever since and really loving it. Like it's an endless exploration. So we wanted to show like 4 projects today, quickly, to show a bit of what we're doing and more the outline of like the underlying thing. Like we really like to build frameworks, not having one patch or one design thing, but actually being able to use it in a daily life, in installations or in a show. And in a way, like all the stuff that we're doing is exactly the same. We have like in the 4 project that we're going to show is mostly dance related and one more software development. But underlying, it's all the same framework, the same way of thinking, and that makes it really special to work with touch designer. Like you can make new stuff by doing going deeper and deeper into stuff, or you can connect things, and that's basically what we're doing.
Yeah, and also for touch design, I like my background in developing and Roy in design. And touch design, I think, is the best tool to really blend those two together because we can work in the same software and still I can go dive into mathematical stuff and Roy can still do all the design. But yeah, that was the beginning, and now I think it's quite blended. Roy is also programming, also a little bit designing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the first project that we did last year. And in a way, in this project, there's a lot of different sub-projects in this project. We came from the designing a lot of stages and visual work. This is the Mysteryland festival in Holland last year, where they switched from like a more theater kind of based of main stage to a more LED setup, but in a 3D, like in a box. And then they asked us, what did we do with the video content for the 2-day festival, like some corporate stuff, the end show.
And some real-time patches for like the daytime, because normally the daytime the screens are off. And now so we made something that could continue to run during the day.
Which was the most fun part.
Yeah.
But then, like how we started, like the because it's a box, so you have the perspective. So in the beginning, like, okay, should we approach it? You need one sweet spot that always looks well, but where is that spot, and where will the camera be placed, and what is the best spot for the biggest audience? Like, and afterwards, like when we're there, we found out that these kind of stuff actually quite work. Your brain still adjust to it, and some stuff that we thought would work didn't work at all.
No. Now the thing is also because there are only 3 screens here. It's not like a transparent screen. It's like 3 screens that form like a side of a cube or 3 sides of a cube. And so we made it like look like 3D by having this perspective rendering. And like here, what you see we use touch design, of course, to do the remapping. So we made it in 3D, then remap it back into 3 sides that we can then project on the LED screen.
And this was also the template that went to. We had Joey on the studio working on it. Max did a lot of her part. Trent is an AI artist, so they all used the frontal view, and then we mapped it on there.
And then we also made like a system inside touch design, because this is one of the real-time patches that we were running like on the data. And then we added some presets, some colors, so we could lively change it. And this is another real-time patch we used. Uses ray marching. And the next one, you see, for example, that in real time at the festival. And what we did was like try to mimic a little bit of a glass by putting little scratches on the glass and make it transparent to reflect the images. And we put like a camera on the sky to know like what the color is behind the screen. But yeah, in the end it was just Dutch weather, completely white, so we could just put like a white color in the back.
But it was fun, like we always try to find ways that we get away from the screen as a normal TV thing, and we really wanted to blend the physical stage with the digital content. And then in a way, this is more ambient approach. Like it's not like for the first 2 hours of people walking in before the reading start happening.
This is very, sorry to interrupt. It's very interesting the way, how the interaction with the environment into the visuals take a role, because now we're seeing more and more this type of like integrations of content. But I think like adding a camera just to look at the sky and how the sky has been represented at that specific moment in time, it has another different level, because it doesn't matter how is the weather. You always be creating this integration with the outside, which is
Yeah.
cool.
But then what Tim said, like it was all white, slightly. I mean, using a color is also enough.
Yeah, then another part of it is like what Roy also already said was like having a system that we can reproject 2D content. There's a lot of VJs there, like guest VJs. For example, René van Dijk, who did the concert of Charlotte de Witte. He's VJing with a Resolume with just 2D visuals. So we made like a system that we could still project it onside the cube and do like little animations, for example, rotating the cube while it's playing.
Which didn't work at all, like the rotating.
No.
Yeah. And then another big part is like that we do end shows. So it's all in touch as well, but then we render out the content. And the way end shows work is that you always have one master, mostly the music, and there's a time track. So everybody gets the music, and then it goes to all the different sectors of light, laser, pyro, and they all we all agree like, okay, in this hit something will happen. So we now we're actually making a sequencer, but before we use Ableton to put all the triggers in, and then trigger particle system in this case that Tim made.
Here also some visuals of the end shows. They are all with sound and stuff available on YouTube. I can send a link.
But it's fun that you don't have to basically it's a render engine, but I'm still using all the real-time stuff. And then when we really try to again connect stuff, what we did with the stage before with the glass thing, now it's like with pyro. So it becomes one, and this gives this illusion that block is shooting fireworks. This is all being done like scripted. There's a creative director, Sander Vermeulen, we worked with for a long time at Mysteryland, and with him we sit down and then like he makes the overall plan, and then we design it.
Yeah, so we had like a video of the pyro, and then we could use that as time code to also make the visuals. So we couldn't really test it with a real pyro.
No, it was over there, like all or nothing, all on black. Yeah. Different approach, like in a way it's similar, but now we have so much more control. Is that we use the same kind of approach that we sync the music to triggers and things like that, but then in a live situation. In this case, with Carl Cox, we're doing the Evolution live show with him for the last year, and of course, like he doesn't play the same thing all the time. Like he has a Ableton that runs like the main timing for all his synths, but then we have a synthesizer and a drum computer and a 303 and a mixer. So we don't know what he's playing, but we still want to have that sync capability. So we start thinking of like how to do that.
Yeah, and then one part is his Pioneer mixer, which we sort of reverse engineer. Like we borrowed the Pioneer mixer and then read out all the data that we could get from it, and then make it like a visualizer inside Touch Design.
So we get all the data, what is he doing in real time, and then we had a Max for Live patch that sends through all the information from Ableton, and then we all get that the data into the front of house. Like in the way it's set up, you have a stage where Carl is playing, and the front of house is always like this tent in the middle of the dance place where everything is being controlled. So that's where we are, and then we have one guy, Luc, that does Resolume. He does the final thing for the screens, and go on some light and tap on laser, and so we get all that data, and instead of upfront thinking like, okay, this hit is going to be like this special effect on the screen or this laser thing, we now have this ability over here that we get the data in, and then on the spot we can decide, okay, this hit is going to be a laser thing, or this is being synced to that. So we're really flexible in syncing up everything, and we separate basically the whole timing of the creative part. And then all the guys, they can concentrate on the final look. Because, I mean, building a show is like it's being a band. You have to create one balance, one atmosphere for the entire venue. And if the laser starts like shooting really crazy, then the visual guy has to tone down a bit, otherwise it gets a big mess. So with this, we can control a bit like the data flow. And that's super cool. So, and then on the content side, we just make patches, like normal Touch Designer patches, but then instead of controlling them with the mouse or with presets and stuff, we just hook it up to that data thing. And then the whole thing, and then of course the crew still like, okay, how much laser are we going to do? How much visuals to have the balance? But it's all synced then.
And then one other part of the show was the laser mapping, or is the laser mapping, where we experiment a lot with using a laser to shoot on a screen and detect or calculate where it's hitting the screen and then triggering visuals as well. For example, here we had the track of Carl. We get like the beats and the snares and stuff, and we show it as a sequencer, and every time it hits, like in the center, you can't hear it now, but it's perfectly in sync.
I have a question about that. So this way, you are creating this tool, which is kind of a VJ tool, which you don't control. It's controlled by the DJ, right? In this case, Carl.
Yeah. We separate all because what an operator does in the front of house, like you hear the music, it gets analyzed into his head, and then he starts playing with it. Like
Yeah,
especially if
correct.
you have a
Yeah.
VJ, it's complicated software. You have a lot of
And
layers and stuff.
it has to be super good with timing because you can tell when a light is not in sync, or you can tell with this is kind of like in sync.
Yeah. And then not only that, like he has to be good in sync, but he also has to pay attention to the other guys. Like if a light, like if there's an accent in the song, whoop, 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 and if the whoop, whoop, if then the
Right.
video guy takes that thing, but also the light, it becomes a mess again. It's better that one of those guys. So you have to pay attention to what the other guy is doing as well. So what we're trying to do is to take away that thinking stuff so that they can only concentrate on how it actually looks, what the output, creating more like harmony and balance in the whole show. And, yeah, it's an ongoing exploration.
Yeah, so
This is like
the
a
laser. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
I was gonna say like this is like a dream for every musician to have their own kind of a self-owned VJ tools while they are playing too.
Yeah, it's still that we prepare the set. So it's still that we have to put like all the sequences, all the cues for the triggers.
Right.
We did that with Carl Cox tracks. So it's not like that we can just put on any music and it already sings it.
Yeah.
But
And that's the deeper research because your brain can handle a lot of sound at the same time, but you cannot handle that many visual triggers. So, which are the more important ones to focus on? And if you do all of them, I don't know if you know the Winamp or the Windows Media thing from the 2000s. Like it becomes a soup. It becomes really. So we have to direct. Okay, which sounds are actually going to be visualized and in what form.
yeah. And this is then our tests and research in laser projection or laser mapping. What we build is like a tool to calculate where it hits the screen. So it doesn't matter where the laser is and where the screens are. What we do is like shoot 4 points on the screen, and then we know exactly where on the screen we're gonna shoot the laser. And this is, for example, a test that we did to play around with different kind of effects.
And it's super useful to be really quickly in the calibrating because then, like we had one thing with Carl where somebody bumped against the projector and against the laser thing, so it shifted. So you have to recalibrate, and with only the 4 points, we can during show we could easily adjust it. Still, it's quite a lifesaver.
Yeah, so we made like this system for the laser calibration, not just for one screen, but for multiple. This was last year, for before Carl Cox even, where we did techno shows in called Awakenings in Amsterdam here, it's a festival. And then we made a system for Kappa or the laser guy to control everything. And instead of like generating content for the screens, what we did is generating masks, like those white bars you see. We projecting them, or we sending them out through NDI to the Resolume guy, the VJ. So he could use that to put in any kind of visuals.
Because these are like evening long, evenings, club evenings. So we wanted to create more of a tool that we don't set the content fixed, but that they could explore the possibilities while playing with it. And these are, I think there's 4 or 5 days in a row. So the operators there, like they yeah,
Play around.
This is the perfect combination of like making things with tools. I had this recent experience lately where I was working a project over the past 2 weeks where someone helped me to build these tools, and then I can explore in a very artistic way, like the opportunity, and this is it's incredible how tools can help you out to give you a little bit more of a constraint, creative constraint, and from that constraint you build such an amazing elements and visuals. But you're limited into something, and then someone tell you like this is the only package of colors. Be creative with those package of colors, and then
Yeah,
this possibility that you give to others, which is this superpower of give them limits. It makes something very powerful for others too.
for sure. Otherwise, you go nuts. If you can choose everything, you choose nothing. Like it's, yeah. And in this way, well, we always accounted like we can build systems, but if we're the only ones knowing how to use it, in this case, Max was spending a lot of time over there as well during show, like adapting stuff. But if the knowledge of using the tool is only with us, then it's also us that do the creative stuff with it. And in this way, we find it's exactly the same tools that we use for the call box thing, where we do the content as well. But in this case, like yeah, we make it a bit with a wrapper so they can use it as well, and then see what comes up with it. And it's fun.
Yeah, then our last project, what we want to talk about is completely different. Has nothing to do with the nightlife, but it's the Gran Tecan. It's a telescope in La Palma, an island of the Canary Islands near Africa. And
Yeah, like the such an honor. Like you have Romano. He's the director of the telescope, and he approached I think Isabel or Greg from Derivative to include touch design in the whole thing, connecting like the world of science with this world of crazy immersive things. And then Jacob from Utrecht, he started doing an internship there, and then we basically continued on his work.
yeah, 3 years ago I think he started,
Yeah.
and now after that we continued working on something.
Yeah.
Oh, here are some photos they make from the Gran Tecan. Yeah, well, what we did the last 2 years is making a digital twin of the telescope. So everything the telescope was doing, like moving the telescope and stuff, was like copied in a digital form, as you can see on the right here. All made in Touch Designer, and yeah, here you can see it a bit better. So it also has like a lot of sensors, like Internet of Things stuff, like temperature sensors on the telescope, cameras, all the instruments. Like the telescope itself has like different kind of instruments that they can redirect the light coming into the telescope into different kind of instruments. And yeah, so this is showing what kind of instruments there are, which one is selected.
This is yeah, as you can imagine, quite a complex piece of machinery, and the people that are working there are incredibly smart and amazing people. But they're not really, they don't really do design stuff, and so all the way they read the data is basically, and I'm saying it a bit like it's better than it is, but like Excel, like a hard way to read everything. So we try to wrap that up in a thing that they can easily see. On one hand, that they can see what was happening in the telescope. We're not controlling it; we're only monitoring it. And on the other hand, to make a bit more insightful for visitors, because it's all tax money and sponsorships and stuff. So we wanted to, or they wanted to show as well what they're doing to bridge the gap between the scientific world and
Yeah, so it looks like this. This is the inside the telescope. They have this control panel, or control room, where they sit, where they work, and now they install the touchscreen device you see on the right, and a big wall, a LED wall. So yeah, so they can control the previs and look at everything on the go.
explain for visitors how it's working, but also see in one glance, like if a mirror is being placed correctly, or it needs to be cleaned and stuff like that, or surveillance with all the cameras there. Basically, the whole.
Yeah.
Which was quite a. Sorry.
I was gonna say like that must be a very fun project to be in that place,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The people, especially, are amazing. Such great people, but also hard for us to make this whole big program, but also to learn. We had to learn how everything was working because all the jargon, how do you call it? Like
Terminology.
yeah.
Yeah, there were like quite some weird words that we have no idea. Like they're talking about, oh, you have to show the M2 better. And like, okay, what's the M2? You know, that's then the second mirror and stuff like this. But yeah, it took a while to really get on the same level. But yeah, eventually,
Yeah,
we managed.
and an amazing project to work on.
Yeah.
Also, like the area where we're on top of a mountain, it's like alien and stuff.
Yeah, and then the second part of the project was the visitor center. Since like the telescope, there are like about 10,000 visitors coming every year just to watch the telescope, and they have like this little room or little hallway you see here, where they present like a video about like how the telescope work and what they are doing. And yeah, the last project Jacob made.
Yeah, they have this big hallway, and they put 3 projectors on, and then for the last of that, we put LED strips on the top as well, and lidar sensors on the wall. So it's like a multi-purpose room, like one to get in all the equipment to the telescope, and so yeah, to guide visitors.
And one nice thing what they introduced as well is is a robot.
Of course.
So they have now a robot there, which is the host of the visitors. So if the visitors arrive, this robot is coming there to greet them and bringing them to the hallway where they have this introduction video. And yeah, the robot is also speaking. It has cameras like here. It has like a depth camera and a thermal camera. And yeah, we use it in the show to describe how the telescope works.
Mostly with the infrared. That's what the telescope does as well. It's an optical telescope, but it looks at all different frequencies. So we have one part where Gara, it's called the robot. She's taking a picture of the visitors, and then comparing like what you see in the normal spectrum of light versus the infrared spectrum, and that there's so much more information available that goes beyond what we can see with our eyes. It's also super fun project.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the last thing, it was just normally in a video to describe the whole telescope. But what Romano really wanted to have, it was also some kind of interactive installation. And so in the end of the whole introduction movie, there's like this interactive patch. Like Roy said already, we have some lighters on the right and on the left of the walls, and so the whole wall became a touchscreen, and everywhere you then touch, you create a star. So you create a gravitational field, and it attracts like kind of fluids, and that becomes a star. And the longer you hold, the bigger the star, and eventually it will explode into a supernova. And just as a way to play around and show a little bit about how a star grows and how gravity works.
Yeah, that's super fun to combine like actual data and stuff with this interactive thing. Like on one hand, it's quite a simple thing, just point or touch the wall, but because like you can see how an actual star is being growing and stuff, it adds so much more to it. Yeah,
What I also find very interesting about this type of projects is the combinations between actual scientists that can tell you like, no, this is wrong, this is correct, or oh, this is how we imagine and we never seen it before, like this is the what I've studied on papers and something that I always like made in formulas, but for the first time I'm able to actually see it, virtually, but see it because you apply that part of mathematics into the whole end result.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's fun to create those to connect those different worlds, and because they're really good in their field, but then yeah, to add the simple interactive stuff to it, yeah, exactly what you're saying, like add some new layer to everything. Okay,
that was it.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, incredible
Quick overview.
presentation. and super interesting work. I can see a lot of your superpowers, combining a lot of math and science. For me, it's something that it's not possible in my mind to create this complex mathematics uh, programs. But I'm really happy to meet you guys who are super smart and also doing this beautiful work at the same thing. Before we start doing these questions, I'm going to quickly just make an announcement, but also if you guys can start writing their questions. So I saw Greg is in here as well. Hey, Greg. Please, guys, start writing their questions. I'm just gonna put into the chat really quick the link for the HQ. If you want to join the HQ, there is a link here which is going to give you access to a 12 program. So we have like how much? Over 170 hours of touch designer tutorials, content. We added more content related to creative technology, also creativity, design, concept team, storytelling. We're start to add in more and more content relating to different parts of what this industry represents. We also have this private group with coaches like Matthew Raga and Elburs who help us out to come up with some doubts about our projects. And we have this kind of like a internal also sessions where we present a little bit more of an in-depth work from the mentors. And yeah, so let's go back to the questions for now. So all right, so you guys ready with your questions? But before we jump into your questions, I'm going to I have some questions of my own first. Wait, let me just change this. So, how does the mathematics shape your creative process? Like we see a lot of that, and I don't know. Like I would like to have your opinion into how this mathematics has been shaping. The stuff that you do.
Yeah, I think it's mainly it grew into it. Like I've been programming all my life, um, but never was really good in mathematics. And only until I got into touch designer, where it's more visual programming, suddenly there was a quite a need for mathematics. Like how to calculate all those linear algebra and stuff. And I didn't know much about it, but back then I started studying it more and more, and became a little bit addicted to it, to understand it a bit. But eventually, together with Roy, then it suddenly becomes something. Like having an equation of mathematics, doing some linear algebra. It's nice, but it doesn't look good. But then in combination with Roy, and I made like I don't know, some kind of spiral or something, and then Roy looks at it, and it's like, oh, maybe that's nice to make a city out of it or something, like, and then it grows in that sense.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna actually. This is related to my other question about what is like creating together as brothers, right? Like it's a very interesting thing to me. Like how is this relation that you mentioned?
Yeah. I mean, we're really different, and we're really the same. It's nice like that when we started, you had a lot of programmers that they couldn't design, and a lot of designers that couldn't program. So while working together, like he taught me how to program and how to, because it's one thing to typing the stuff, it's one thing to write shaders and stuff, but to actually to get into that abstract mind, is something that takes a lot of time, and it really helps if there's someone that understands that way of thinking. Same accounts for design as well. Like the balance in a picture and stuff, it's also not something which you can do instantly. Like it goes over time. Of course, like because we were brothers, we also clash. But then I think we found a good way that that emotions get high up, and then we separate, and then then we come back like 15 minutes later, and we can I know why he's mad, and then there's no, I cannot be mad at him anymore because I know why he's mad, and the same thing comes for him. So that's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and
You
then
know, you
also
know,
no, sorry.
I was gonna say, like, you know what I think? Like, I imagine that it's like one big brain. I mean, like, your brain as individuals are incredible, but when you put them together, because you kind of are kind of the same brain, right? Because your family, and then you have this kind of like a perception that is kind of like this sense of togetherness. Like, you can collide with a colleague, and become really good with someone, but there's a different relations by being brothers in a way, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Hmm.
But then we always have like big clashes as well. Like, okay, what is more important, design or code? Like for me, using a noise is already.
Yeah, and I think that's also what you said about like being a good designer and not being able to code, or being a good coder and not being able to design. It's very hard to uh, let, like, for me, I'm very exact, like programming, and it should be mathematical correct, and I wouldn't throw in just noise to make things look good. It should be a reason why, maybe it should be fluid dynamics and stuff like this. And Roy is more like, no, but it looks good, and that sometimes it's like, yeah, I want it to be more exact. Roy is like, but it looks good.
Yeah.
So that's sometimes a bit clashy, but that's good. I think that's.
Yeah, and I think in a way that's like combining the worlds again, combining like the programmer mind, because it's a mindset, it's abstract thinking, and it's like a feel, and it's like the scientific guys, or like a client, or a project manager, or like you have all these different um, frameworks in your head, and I think now not only like what we're doing, but in the whole general thing, like is a time that everything is being put together, and new stuff is being discovered. So it's a super exciting time to do all these things. It's, yeah. And clashes are part of that.
Yeah. It kind of like makes you complete as well. Clashes are part of the same mathematical problems in a way, right? And also, how do you balance precision with your artistical expression? Like, because there's a lot of kind of highly technical thing in your work. Like I mentioned before, is something that I will never be capable to reach. But then you do some maths, and I guess I know the question, but I would like to hear from you. And I'm answering this question myself, probably because math already has beauty in it, but like it is artistic already. But I would like to know, like, what do you think about?
Yeah, I think most the technical part is before, to make it even look good.
Yeah.
So there's this concept of playing around with some mathematics, or mainly physics, stuff like that, and playing around with it, and like, oh, this is nice. We can do something with this. And after that, then I think we're gonna use it and then put in
Yeah.
more.
Like the Mysteryland thing, like a ray marching shader with a blob mesh, like, and then Tim does research on that, and then we sit down and how can we, like in the case of Mysteryland, we had the Mysteryland project, and we have a whole hard disk full of all these tests and things, and then we start, okay, how can we integrate this in this project, and then we start adding like a floor and like the scratches and things. So then it's always like the small building blocks that you just can combine. I think at this point, like we're happy that we found our workflow and that we are able to combine them. Basically, it's boring stuff, making it like tidy that you can go into a project a year later and still know what you did.
I think that's one of the beauties of tools like Touch Designer, right? That like translate in a way this complex language as mathematics, and then you put it out there into something that is beautiful, right? And this is such a gift for us as creators today, to be able to live in this moment where we can be able to do this now. and we couldn't do that, before. I remember when I started, like, it was so complicated to make this kind of stuff, and now it's literally like magic happening, right?
Yeah, and in a way, you're already doing all the hardcore math stuff. You just don't know it. Like you connect the operators together, but the way of thinking, like how you get there, you already do in touch. So it looks like more complex if you do a shader, but basically the whole touch is built around shaders.
Definitely now with the pot,
Yeah.
like the new family of touch designer, where you can really do incredible technical stuff. You don't even need programming.
Yeah,
No.
But still, like the mindset, yeah, it's not gone. You still need to know, like, again, mathematics,
of course,
like vectors and all that stuff.
of course. And thanks, Greg. You're there. Thank you. Thanks for putting out this incredible tool to everyone. He's already in the chat. I knew he was going to be here. I knew it. Anyway, so I would like to jump to some of questions from the people that it's already asking some stuff. For example, there's this question here from Ivan Kilos from Greece. Congratulations, very inspiring. My question is, do you accept internships?
Yeah, we get it a lot, and then like we're not the best bosses. I mean, you can ask Max for the thing, but we're doing our own thing, and there's a certain type of person that needs to work with, that does stuff on its own, and also has the same mentality. We don't want to become like a big company that we tell people what to do, because then all the creative stuff has to come. Let's say we're the bosses, and then we have to tell what everyone's doing. So we're the ones creating, but the guys that are doing it are the best in what they do. So at the moment we're a really small team, and we collaborate with a lot of people. But Max as well, like, took him quite a while before he got. Now he's like working with us.
I might probably reformulate these questions, and I will ask, like,
Yeah.
do you do collaborations with other artists, or do you do collaborations? That's a different way to see it, but I know what you're saying about not being part of a company, wanted to have this relationship between boss and an intern.
Mhm.
So,
Oh,
sorry. I have a question from Jochevet. Hey, hi, Jochevet. What is your next project going on?
No, we switched a bit in the because a couple of years ago we were going from deadline to deadline, smaller projects. So we were lucky enough to get like one big project now, which we're working on, like an immersive thing, and that gives us the freedom to dive into more, first of all, tools that we always need. Like we used Ableton to sequence stuff, so now we're building our own sequencer in Touch or a UV mapper. And to explore stuff.
Yeah, like I'm researching a lot of AI right now, and more like evolutional algorithms and reinforcement learning to use AI in a way so that we can use it in installations, to make like the installation more alive, to let it think for itself. But it's all just playing around and finding out, like, okay, what can we do with it? So it's still no idea if that's going to be a project, but
And then in a way, that's also another mindset again. Like before, like the fish, for instance, like we made fish installations, so you program how the fish is going to work, like a flocking. But now suddenly you have to train the fish how it's going to do, and then let it go. So it's a different way of thinking how to build up all that stuff, and that's
just playing around with it a lot.
Yeah, there.
it's the most fun part.
Like most of the most some of the most incredible creators that I know, a lot of them, they build their own tools. I mean, not just doing the visuals, but doing incredible visuals requires to prepare a set of like magic tricks, in this case the tools, who will be help you out later to combine them and to like have these assets of things, and these are kind of like a way to do it. One is we should get in this call to Polyhop, but like Polyhop is like creating stuff, like the whole time, and we're seeing all these visuals every day. Like I don't even know what's his workflow. It'll be really interesting to know like how he produced so much of that thing. But I assume that he's already been creating a lot of tools that he's capable to tuning in, change, and combine them to create new stuff. And this is the power of tools. Like this is what I've seen that you guys, are doing such an incredible job at. I'm going to ask one question.
Hey,
Go ahead.
no.
Yeah, I was gonna ask this question, which is really interesting. Like, how do you handle the dichotomy between scientific accuracy versus visual appeal, and also versus understandability in the case of the telescope, like projects?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like the main question of the upcoming years in all of our thing. Like, how can we use this medium to tell stories or to explain stuff? Like in the case of the telescope, of course, like we have the director and the whole crew there. And if we do something, we just ask them, like, is this correct? And they say, yes.
Yeah, and with the star thing, it was more. It didn't really have to be correct at that moment. It was more like the request was something interactive with gravity, and so we came up with the star thingy, and the only thing what is then physically correct is the mass and the temperature of the star that's growing and which states it's go. But yeah, just found that on Wikipedia. So it's the gravity itself. Yeah, because studying physics and stuff, I like to really use Newtonian gravity. So like take the mathematical equation. So that is some sort correct, but like for example, we deformed the grid when you touch it, yeah, and that is completely not correct, as in how much mass there is and stuff.
But then what is important, like to play with it and feel nice, than to be actually correct. And I mean, in the end, it's still all entertainment stuff, right?
Yeah,
Even today.
but yeah, the main
Go ahead.
main thing what I would really love is to be to close to reality as much as possible and then make it beautiful.
Yeah, I think this is why we feel so much appeal with simulations, right? With real simulation, like fluids and that kind of stuff, because it relates to our reality, relates to us, and that's kind of like a magical to see something that it's real but it's not real, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the language of physics, language of nature, and all that feels good.
So I have a question from Greg. Greg, which artists in or fields do you get more influence of what you do, and how's electronic? How has the electronic music scene as well been influenced that too?
I think in other fields like name Ogden, that you had, he was 10 years ahead. He's a really big inspiration.
Robert Hodgson,
That
really like
yeah,
mind blown.
and not only because of his work, but also like what he showed last time on the call with you, that he starts with a project and keeps on going and going. Like the renders that he did of his house, and then fill it up with balls with water. And
Yeah,
like it's really inspiring. Not to make something think, okay, this is it, but just keep on diving into it.
and what for me, and it has nothing to do really with touch design, but scientist is Richard Feynman. It's really like my hero, like how he is and how he wants to. He's not alive anymore, but how he learned. It wasn't about the goal; it was about the process of growing, and that really inspires me.
Yeah, keep on learning. I think.
Yeah,
And electronic, I think Richard Harton,
yeah,
like to find the essence of things. I mean, also in the design stuff that I'm doing, like what is the minimal form that feels good and is in balance. And the more you strip away, the more important every element becomes. And I think that thing, like he keeps on continuing. Yeah, love his work.
Mhm.
Question here from Sean. How much?
Greg.
What?
Yeah. That's also one thing, like how to like, because the world is, it's really competitive, and there's a lot of things. And then you have people like Greg, Isabel, and Derivative that really want to make a good product and care about the community and actually do a lot of stuff to make the whole thing better instead of choosing to
to
uh,
monetize.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And that is really inspiring. Like, I'm not saying that because he's here. Like, I really mean that having a small company and having so much impact on that and is
Yeah,
really
and we were just talking about this in the previous, before we jump into this call, right? Like, I guess the power of building community is so incredible and it's so powerful. And at the end, this is a community, people that are here, present, and there's people that are caring for this community, such as, Isabel, Greg, and the people at Derivative who are making this tool to gather more people, and I guess this purpose is very beautiful, at the end, very powerful as well. Thank you guys. It's not because you're here, but it's true. So Sean, yeah, so much cool work. What other software tools do you integrate into your workflow?
yeah, I think there are now a lot of tools.
Yeah,
For the music we did Ableton, but now we rewrite it into Dutch.
yeah, and for not so much inside the project itself, but for previs and stuff, we work a lot with Joey, and that uses Unreal and Shannon.
Yeah, Houdini. Yeah, and then mostly that's for the presentation thing because it looks all super shiny.
Yeah, but not so much in the project itself. I think, like for example, to the telescope, to have we got the 3D model from them, but like every screw of the telescope was inside, so it was way too heavy to load it in Touch Design. So I think Max did it in Blender, or
Yeah.
or yeah. But like different software to the modeling part mainly, and maybe if we need like real ray trace renderings, then other software will be used. But yeah, it's kind of like 100% touch design.
Because it's nice to stay in one tool. Like switching is gets you out of the flow.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So there's another question from Jack. Like, what is the update on Grand Telescope Digital Twin now? Is it related to TV in AAC industry? Hard. I don't know what that means, but
No,
No, we did.
I guess like connecting the two. But in a way, like it's all the simple stuff, like the web sockets and it's like API calls.
Yeah, yeah. They have like they already had like an whole API or server where all the Internet of Things were connected to, and they had an API, so we could do web requests to fetch it up. And I think there was also MQTT. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, just like the regular way of communicating through it. So it's not that we were connecting to every device, mainly to a server. Though there was one thing, we also had to connect to all the cameras, and there were like 35 of them or something, and that was a bit tricky because yeah, to connect to 35 and what you want is like press the camera and immediately pop up the screen. So it was quite tricky to
Yeah.
to make.
Around touch.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. You can definitely build the whole software in it, but of course it is has limitations.
and I mean, like, we're running out of time, and we just have 1 minute left. Finally, I wanted to ask you, like, if what could be the advice that you could give to a younger version of Tim and Roy? If you could do that, travel on time and go back and just tell something for you guys.
Cool. Yeah, no, I wouldn't change anything because it's a process. Like, love the process. There's no shortcuts. It looks like now you can get the stuff easily, but it's like it takes a while because until you get your head around it, and that just takes time. And to put the time in, you need to love it. So just find something you love doing.
Yeah, I think it's not that we have to tell ourselves, I think, because we did it like that. It's like less focusing on goals, like less focusing on what you want to achieve, but more enjoying the process of getting there. If you get addicted to this, yeah, then there's no end to learning. You can always do different processes. But yeah, the negative part of it, then you don't really care about the results as well.
No, so you don't share a lot.
No.
And your website looks good.
We were just speaking about this before we jump into the call, and I guess the way that I see it is like enjoy the process. Portraying this as climbing the mountain. I enjoy this climbing into this mountain. You're gonna be on top of the mountain just for a while, which is your goal. You already built this tool. You're in this show, amazing immersive experience installation. That would last very short, but the rest it will last a lot. So it's better to enjoy the whole thing, not just the top of it, and then do it again, right?
Wise words.
All right, friends, thank you so much for being here today. It was super fun. It was super inspiring.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, because you guys who are tuning in this channel, like make this possible, and please spread the word about the talks in here. And thank you, Roy. Thank you, team. It's been so delightful to have you. Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Pleasure.